So thank you to all of the organizers for this opportunity to share with what's going on in Nunavik, which has been very exciting so far this morning. I want to talk a little bit about work that we've been doing out of the Inunnguiniq Society in Akved around Inunnguiniq. Many of you probably know Inunnguiniq is the Inuit knowledge system for raising capable human beings. And actually, Kudavik has just published their Inunnguiniq curriculum on well-being, which is grounded quite significantly in the work I'm going to talk about. So next slide, please. So I am originally from Montreal, although I haven't been able to get back there in well over a year. But I have been living in Akved, Nunavut, so directly across the Hudson Bay from many of the Nunavik communities. I've been living here for the past 45 years. I came as an educator and worked setting up the curriculum division for the Nunavut Department of Education. I'm now retired, and I am working with our local wellness society called Inunnguiniq. Next slide. So a lot of our work has evolved around Inunnguiniq. When I was with the Department of Education, we had the honor of working with elders to define and document Inuit Inuit ways of being. And a big piece of that became Inunnguiniq. Because, basically Inunnguiniq is the socialization process that has served Inuit over thousands of years. And basically it talks about we make capable human beings. A capable human being is defined as somebody who lives a good life, who is highly skilled and is able to contribute those skills back to improve the quality of life in the community for others. It is somebody who thinks deeply, is able to seek solutions and be innovative and creative in addressing, sudden and unexpected encounters in life. It's someone who does not cause worry to others because they are capable. And so they operate with confidence and skill and with really strong positive attitudes. It's also somebody who operates with Pijitsangnip, with a sense of humanity, for caring and sharing with others, for working for the common good. And typically it's somebody who has great hope. And especially, in our communities where youth suicide is a new phenomena and is happening at such high rates, this is critically important. This aspect is critically important for the elders. They say it's something that we've lost in our communities. Next slide. So Inunnguiniq is a lifelong process. We're all in the process of Inunnguiniq. We're all becoming more and more capable as we go through life. And hopefully those of us with gray hair have reached some level of wisdom that we can contribute back to our communities. But really Inunnguiniq is about the fullest development of a child and facilitating that development in really positive ways. And it was also importantly, a collaborative and a collective responsibility. And so as has already been described in some of the presentations, the family, the extended family, and the whole community had a responsibility for ensuring that every child was successful and would be able to actively contribute to making their community, their society a better place. Next slide. So one of the key pieces of Inunnguiniq is, when we create capable human beings, they're respectful, they're loving, they're confident, they can contribute, they operate on a high level, and they're like protective factors for society. If we go off the well-defined path of Inunnguiniq, it's a very intentional process. And, when we started documenting Inunnguiniq, right across Nunavut, and actually I worked with people in Greenland and in Nunatsiavut, the same process is described across Inuit Nunangan. So they say that if we go off the path, we're in danger of creating a fragile egg child by being overprotective, by not allowing them to suffer the consequences of their actions, by not setting high expectations, and by not equipping them with the skills to develop self-reliance and proper attitudes in order to be able to encounter life's difficulties. We can also take another path where our expectations are too high, that we surround a child with negative experiences, where we set them up for failure rather than setting them up for success. And this can cause a child to shut down and become a hardened rock child. What the elders told us, though, is no matter where a child, what a child has become, we always have the ability through love and through dedicated attention to build that person back into a human being. But it's best to create a human being in the first place, because it's much harder to rebuild an egg or a rock into a human being. So let's do it right from the beginning. That's their message. Next slide. So one of the things that the elders told us is, in our societies today, in our communities today, where there are so many issues, the place to really intervene is with parents using Inunnguiniq. I mean, we built this information into our education system, or we tried to do that. And so we knew we hoped it was going to get to the children. But they said, we can't wait for children to go up understanding, reclaiming their culture. We need to start working with parents. So based on that, Inunnguiniq has started a family support, a home visiting program called Inunnguiniq. And this is basically coming alongside families through a home visiting approach, where we ask families to identify some goals, some issues they want to work on, and then we bring those supports to them. And in doing that, we try to also target other issues, specifically issues around healthy child development. In the work that we've been doing, we've been able to collaborate with a number of partners who you see there. Next slide. So one of the first pieces that we did working with Inunnguiniq Health Research Center was to develop a parenting program based on this Inunnguiniq knowledge. And I have shared this program with some people in Nunavik, so you may have come across it, I'm not sure. But the goals of the program were to, as the elder said, we need to revitalize Inunnguiniq across all of our communities, because this is the way to support families and to build the strength of parents back into our communities. And in the process of doing that, in reclaiming cultural ways of knowing, you need to support that healing. You need to support that decolonizing process. And so there is a whole aspect to how we support healing built into the curriculum. And then ultimately the goal is to rebuild the role of the extended family in the community collectively and collaboratively in child rearing so that we can meet the goals of developing capable human beings. So in this program, there are three parts. The first is a facilitator's manual, which is designed to help people in a community set up the program, how to fund the program, what you need to think about, how to recruit parents into the program, those kinds of things. The Inunnguiniq parenting curriculum is developed around a series of modules. Each module has 3 course sessions in it. And the course sessions are designed to be delivered in about 2.5 or 3-hour sessions. However, there's way more information in each of those sessions than you could possibly deliver. And every time you deliver it, it'll be different because the sessions are highly reliant on the people who come, their shared experiences, and it's, all discussion and activity based. And so, in fact, we deliver this in many iterations in our community, and we've often had participants who've taken it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and they say, we don't mind taking it that often because it's different every time we take it. Because although we might be responding to, a quote from elders that we've heard before, the discussion is always different because there are different people there, or your reflections have changed over time based on experience. The third piece is a handbook, which you can use, facilitators can use, just so that parents have information that they can take home. With this, there's a 5-day train the trainer that Inunnguiniq offers. So we can come into communities, train a group of community people to deliver the curriculum, and then help support them getting through the implementation phase. Some of our departments, our Department of Family Services in Nunavut, have identified that every one of their staff must take the 5-day facilitator training in order to be exposed to the Inunnguiniq curriculum. So they have taken on funding these train the trainer sessions as a commitment to promoting the program across Nunavut. We also have interest and support from the Department of Justice, and we've been using this with Nunavut Arctic College, and they are awarding 1 credit for people who take this program. Next slide. So before we developed the Inunnguiniq parenting curriculum, I had worked with a group of elders to develop Inunnguiniq child rearing advice from Inuit elders. This was funded through the Centers of Excellence for Children's Wellbeing. It's a series of 22 pamphlets. It starts at pregnancy, and goes to 18-year-olds. And the pamphlets are advice from elders. What are the child development phases of it for children at 6 months? What are things that parents could be doing with their child at that time? What are some things you should be looking for? What are the kinds of cultural teachings that you should be promoting with your child at this age? And the other piece that I did with elders was Inuit what Inuit have always known to be true. In my work with elders, they said, we want to say what Inuit is. We don't want somebody to say it for us. We want to be able to share what we know in our own voice. And so this book is a result of that. It's available, it has been available for the past few years in English. A colleague that some of you know from Université de Montréal, Jeanne Wren, is getting it translated into French. So we're hoping that within the next 12 months, it will also be available in French. Next slide. I also work with the National Collaborating Center for Indigenous Health. They have produced a series of 3 fact sheets. They were produced actually in 2010. One of them describes Inunnguiniq, so the cultural knowledge of Inuit, what that looks like. The second one describes Inunnguiniq and how the process of Inunnguiniq contributes to healthy child development. And then the third one is about Inuit, which are Inuit teachings that can address early child health issues. Those are available, they're downloadable, they're available off the NCCIH website, they're available in Inuktitut, syllabics, French, and English. And we have just got in print a series of 4 booklets. They're each, 25 to 30 pages. They're filled with information taken directly from elders. One on the importance of family connection, parents as first teachers, fatherhood is forever, and growing up healthy. And they will be available, I believe, in English, French, and Inuktitut on the National Collaborating Center website within the next 3 months, we hope. Next slide. So some of the collaborations that we're currently working on, we have worked with the Martin Family Initiative, their early years program, which they take into Indigenous communities. We've created an Inunnguiniq early years program. We've just written an Inunnguiniq child development program for the Peruvic preschool. We're currently working on an Atata parenting course, which will be like Inunnguiniq, a curriculum with resources and a 5-day train the trainer. And we've applied for funding in partnership with Qativik to look at child assessment, learning supports, and intervention strategies for the 0 to 6 age range. And we're hoping that what we're able to develop will then link to the resources and materials and assessment strategies that Qativik is already using in their school system for 6 and beyond. Next slide. So very quickly, the recommendations that we have is that we're all in this together. We all have different skills and abilities. Our communities have huge knowledge, capacity, and strengths, and we need to work from what is already known, what has always worked. And from our experience, Inunnguiniq really has the answers that we're seeking when we're working with families and communities, and so we need to look to that information for our answers. And then finally, next slide. Please look, there are a number of resources on our YouTube site. Our youth develop a lot of videos. They're available on our YouTube site. On our Facebook page, describes mostly our youth activities, but also on our website, we have resources for maternal and early child care that are downloadable and available to anybody who's interested in them. So thank you for that opportunity.